Being on autopilot, being numb, being surrounded by hatred, that is not a life. And I'm so thankful that I got myself out of there and I started speaking up and I started creating a community full of people who are actually supportive. And I wish more people would just like start waking up, because then we could like make progress as a society. Then we could like fix all the core issues that are responsible for your life to be miserable. I was tweeting like, oh, now that I uploaded the video on Kirsche and said what I wanted to say, I'm going to close this chapter for now and focus on the content I enjoy making. Unless I can use something for educational purposes, I'd rather not engage with the right as much anymore. It's exhausting. Grixit, Daniel Grixit, posted translation. After making myself look like a fucking idiot for the past week and making Kirsche more popular, I didn't. I will now bend the knee and off back to my little echochamber of the internet. I don't. What is that? Cope. Like, it didn't vanish. I also had like some dude, when I made the tweet on my YouTube video, be like, oh, I heard that you have given up. There's nothing I can add to it. I said what I wanted to say. Why do you want me to like revolve my content around like a bigot? What would I gain from that? Even in the replies, focus on the content I enjoy making. Good luck with that. Remember to come back to Twitter again to stir up trauma with more talented people when you inevitably fade back into obscurity. What? You've given up and crawled back under the delusional rock you crawled out. What do you expect me to do? Yeah, without Twitter drama equals impossible. Real. What would I gain from making another stream about that? What would I gain from making another video about that? It's just like everybody knows now what is like going on. Like, obviously a lot of them don't care because like the vtuber and anime community is full of right-wingers and it's just like the popular thing right now. But still, I do think that like raising awareness is kind of useful, because like I know that there were a lot of people in my comments being like, I had no idea, I just know her from like Fillion's collab. Like, it's useful to draw attention to it, it's useful to like call things out, but like why would I do that again? I thought it was so funny because someone in the comments that I actually had blocked, she's an annoying but she's right about Kirsche. She. Yeah, someone gendered me correctly. Imagine caring about pronouns in 2025. Why are you whining about pronouns in 2025 when these people misgender me and someone corrects them? All of them are like, oh, you're also like emotional. You're all just like offended over words. And then someone genders me correctly in that sphere, even if they call me an annoying. They get like so many comments just being like, that's a man. He's not a she. Why are they so offended over words? Why are they like so obsessing over my gender identity and they're like fragile little things? Like, it's not a big deal to just gender me correctly, but for them it's like such an abomination. It's hurtful for them. They are so triggered. You know, that's the same with like if someone makes a video game and there's a protagonist that isn't a cis straight white man. These people are so like fragile, they're like starting to whine. It's not a big deal. Like, if you want to misgender me, go ahead, but the fact that you are so obnoxious anytime someone genders me correctly is just pathetic, dude. It's like, what do you gain from this? You're not upsetting me, you're not offending me. When I go outside, I'm going to get called ma'am. I'm going to get gendered correctly. They really think they're doing something when they misgender us? Yeah, they're invalidating our gender identity and they think that's like such a huge own. They only have like 2 or 3 attacks and they're literally like, when it comes to like trans women, it's just like misgender them in any way, post pictures of drawings of like their little soy jacks, or like use AI generated stuff to like insult someone. Thank you for the 1,000 bits. Thank you. I have been catching your videos on YouTube and just wanted to stop in and show some support. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for all you're doing and trying to raise awareness on trans issues, even with all the backlash you have to deal with. Honestly, like me speaking out, me doing these things, it's just like, I'm in a privileged position, actually. I have the luxury of actually transitioning, even though it took me a really long time to get there. And I still have access to healthcare. For now, I'm safe because, I mean, I don't live in the US and things are really bad. Same with like UK. Things are getting even worse. And I hope that like Germany is not going to cave to this like fascist and right-wing agenda that's like going on. But like, I have a supportive community, I have a supportive environment, I can safely transition. So I think like me speaking up is like the least that I can do. You know, the real heroes are the, doesn't matter if it's cis or trans people, it's like actually going on the street and being visible. That is like the proper activism that we need. And I'm just like sitting here in front of my PC being a little anime girl. But yeah, I do appreciate the support, and I'm glad that I can help people. I'm glad that I can reach people. But it's kind of interesting that like this backlash, you know, these people tweeting about me, these people like whining about me, it doesn't really do anything. It's just Twitter. You know, my guy gets, I don't know, 3,000 likes, 4,000 likes. People are whining in the comments. One down, two to go. Like, I didn't disappear. I'm still here. What the do you mean? This clown is so mad, which is more funny because they misgender people all the time out of spite. No, we don't. How am I mad? I don't understand what their level of cope is. Like, this dude thinks that like Alex Jones said the truth about Sandy Hooks. He's an unemployed little man-child who's getting upset that I called out his favorite Oshi. And then they get like upset at anyone who says she. And they need to like go out of their way to correct them. You know, they have to control speech. They're so obsessed with saying things like, oh, free speech, free speech. They don't want free speech. They don't want freedom of expression. They want everyone to be exactly the same. Everyone to be exactly how they want society to be like. And they are going after anyone who like breaks free from that. Anyone who breaks free from the norm is going to get like harassed and stuff. It just makes them look pathetic. You know, look at what they are defending. Look at like their feet. They have no fun. There's no fun allowed in that universe. There's no support allowed in that universe. Everybody needs to conform to this like fascist rule. Anyone who doesn't want that is just being dragged down. And when I'm saying that like, hey, you know, I made the video on it, I don't really want to push it any further. There's nothing for me left to say. Like I literally said everything in that YouTube video. They want to drag me back into it so badly. It's all free speech this, free speech that, until you dare live your life differently from them. Exactly. They want every speech to be allowed without censors, but then they have no issues with censoring like LGBTQ people. You know, they want to suppress diversity, they want to suppress DEI, they want to suppress women. This is not free speech. Your idea of free speech is literally just like normalizing hate speech. That is what you want. You don't want free speech, you want free hate speech. You want to hate anyone that you want to hate, and you don't want to face consequences for it. But because in your little world, everybody is like conforming to this conservative idea of like the role of a man, the role of a woman, anything in between doesn't exist. Everything is just black and white. You're not allowing freedom of expression. You're not allowing people to be themselves. You don't want them to have freedom. You want everyone to be trapped and locked in boxes that are just used to control society. They are the offended little snowflakes. You know, every time a video game has like a character that is black, they have a mental breakdown. Like, why don't you do your own games? Why don't you like just isolate yourself? They're using AI to support their delusions. It's the same with this. How it started, how it's going. It's like Trump arrested a judge. This is just fake. This doesn't exist. This picture doesn't exist. They are so mad no one is siding with Trump's FBI that they are resorting to AI generating mugshot photos to trick their audience. They are using AI to just have like their own little alternate universe. They're living in their little delusions and generating what is happening. And the same with like one dude who generated an image of like someone who is obese with blue hair, you know, riding on a Cybertruck. And they're like, this guy, this should be arrested. It's like, this doesn't even exist. This is not a picture of a real person. Don't force your delusions onto us. Yeah. Oh, you trans people, you're not living in the real world. Finally, society is moving on from your transgenderism. And it's like the scientific community, the general public didn't move away from it. Like, trans people didn't just like suddenly stop existing. We're still fighting. You're just in your little echochamber generating your AI, your little worldview. That is what you're doing. And it's so unhealthy, and there are like no guidelines. They're boxing a lot of shadows by there. They're inventing problems just to get mad at them. It's insane. There are so many things that you could get upset about. You know, even with games, just get mad at like another title being released into early access. Another game that has microtransactions. Another game with a battle pass for, I don't know, $100. Another like a digital deluxe edition where you actually get like the content that was like meant for the base game. Get mad at that. Get mad at like the price increase, etc. Get mad at how you're not able to pay for rent and like actually buy things that give you joy. Get mad at not being able to afford housing or healthcare, etc. Like, why do you have to artificially generate things to get mad at it? Oh, this woke game, Oblivion Remastered. In the character creation, it says type 1 and type 2 instead of type male and female. We need to have a mod to fix this lunacy. Like, why do you get mad at this? Why is that your purpose? Why do you dedicate your life to that? How pathetic are you? And it's just so sad. It just makes me feel bad for them. I feel like these people are like so miserable and stuck in their own little like universe where everybody's just like trying to drag each other down because they are getting more and more lonely, more and more isolated, more and more detached from like society and from like reality. People that get mad at this are left propagandists that got paid by wealthy or radical left wing something who want equality and other communist stuff. It's so funny when these people tell me I'm grifting. I'm a communist grifter or some stupid thing. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if I was trying to grift, if I wanted to do something lucrative, I would just make like a video talking about how this one video game has a character that actually looks trans. It might be trans because you can always tell at the eye color or some stupid, you know? This one guy, this one weirdo being like, oh, how does a game that opens with the sondered early 1900s Paris set to a beautiful French song end up with a town full of characters straight from south of midnight? It breaks the immersion. It disrespects European culture. European culture? That is disrespecting us. To think that Europe has like a one culture? That is disrespectful. But like, why do incels tell us what we should get offended by? It's the same with like Assassin's Creed. People getting mad at like how Japanese culture is being disrespected because the samurai, the main protagonist, is either a black guy or a woman. Like, why do you tell other people what they should get offended by? Like, it doesn't make sense. Why do you want to like be stuck in a space that is like filled with hatred? Like, it's making me depressed to just like see all this stupid shit from these people. Why are they like so upset at me for taking a little break and like grounding myself, going outside and touching nature, you know, like reconnecting with my dad? That was kind of nice. That is something that I want to talk about. I don't just want to be like, oh, this right-wing creator did a schmazi salute. Asmongold said that like 5 to 10% of the children who are the worst performant should go and work in the coal mines. It's like, why would I constantly want to talk about that? Why should I like deal with stupidity when there's like so much good still in the world? But like, social media just like warps your perception because it boosts the things that currently do the most money. And right now, that is just like the right-wing grift, the outrage. They were even complaining about Predator Badlands. They thought that the alien was a female in the trailer. They care so much about things that just don't matter, and it just makes me feel bad for them. It's the same with like this, you know, someone in our r/us transgender posts. Any clothing brands specifically for trans women? Most of the dresses that look good to me are made for people with much narrower shoulders and short arms. Trans woman is furious after learning that dresses are made for people with narrower shoulders and shorter arms. Yeah. Did you know that cis women struggle with that too? Cis women struggle when they're tall. Cis women struggle when they don't fit what like society deems what a woman has to look like. We're not a different species. But these people get like so mad. Imagine going into like a trans subreddit to shame a trans woman for not meeting the toxic and unrealistic beauty expectations that society has for women. Instead of being like, hey, honestly, if you have big feet, you shouldn't have to like struggle finding shoes. You shouldn't have to struggle finding women's shoes just because you're 43 instead of a 42. There's so many women who are struggling to find like the proper outfits, especially like in stores. Like a lot of people have to just like order online. And instead of being mad at that, they're like, oh, this trans woman has broad shoulders and is complaining that the dresses aren't made for her. Women with different body types like unicorns, it seems, yeah. Like cis women have these issues too. Beauty expectations, it hurts all women. This is not like a gotcha, but these people think it is, and it's just so sad. They just have like this weird perception of what women have to look like, what men have to be like, and everything that just doesn't fit into that black and white box is just other and deserves to get hated. It is not based in science. It is not based in anything substantial. It is just like bigotry. Never felt dysphoric about my shoulders until I tried to put on dresses that fit me perfectly in every aspect, but across the shoulders. Yeah, I feel that. Finding shoes that fit me as hell because of my big feet. Yeah, I feel that too. Like, I'm a 43, 44, so I guarantee you I have to go into a special shop, because if I go into a normal store, I will not find anything that fits me. And that sucks, because there's like so much stuff that just like looks good. But I know that even my mom was struggling to find proper shoes. This is not like, oh, because you're a man, you're not supposed to wear these things. It's so dumb, considering how the average height of women, etc., is like increasing. The shoe sizes are increasing. Like in a lot of places, 41, 42 are the ones that are the most sold out, because that is like the average. But if it's the average, that means that a lot of women actually have like 43, 44, 45. That is how the average works. But instead of like accommodating for that, it's like, well, you don't deserve to wear shoes anyways. Whenever I talk to women, they were always complaining over clothes not fitting. Yeah, it's also like clothing. Like, women's clothing sizes are just so confusing. Just if you get, like, a shirt, you can get, like, an XL. And then for something else, you need, like, a 4XL to fit it. And it's literally just, like, the same thing. It's just weird sizing. There's, like, no consistency. And I think it's literally on purpose, because if you want to shop online, you have to buy a lot of things in a lot of different sizes. And then you realize that it doesn't fit, so you have to, like, send it back. But a lot of us forget sending it back, like me. Then you have, like, the things just, like, sitting there. Because I'm a trans woman, I'm not even allowed to call these things out, because then I'm being shamed for it by, like, TERFs. If I speak up, if I tell people how like messed up it is to go from like quote unquote male privilege to then just being a woman, to realize the shift in society, to realize all the struggles, like we are the ones who can call it out the most. We have like a unique perspective, but instead of like TERFs listening to us, instead of self-proclaimed feminists listening to us, they're reinforcing these like patriarchal things that oppress us in the first place. Absolutely pathetic. These people don't want to fix it. These people want to make it worse. And by like creating these like artificial problems, just getting mad at things that don't matter. It's just flooding your timeline with things like they don't need to be fixed. There are no issues here, but it drowns out everything that is like wrong with the world. You know how billionaires can just like control everyone and everything, and like the media is like shifting the narrative, and like social media, the things that you are seeing are the things that give them the most money. Everything else is basically being shadow banned. Obviously, drama is doing so much better. And that's why it's being pushed. And it warps your perceptions. The same with like this trans hate, the misinformation, the white supremacy that's going on. Everything that you're seeing is just, it doesn't align with reality. It doesn't align with society. We're being separated more and more. We're being more and more isolated from fellow humans. And a lot of us are not getting grounded, you know? A lot of us are not getting out of that bubble. The algorithm just like feeds you more and more of the same stuff that you want to consume. And all you want to do is like hate. Obviously, that is what you're being fed. How is that not something that you want to break free from? That is what I don't understand. Like, why do you want to be miserable? Why do you think that is like the only option for your life? That is like the meaning of your life, is to just be miserable and whine about a trans person being gendered correctly, having to correct everyone who dares to gender someone correctly because it doesn't align with your worldview, with your hatred, with your bigotry. It's just so sad. I know what it feels like to be depressed. I know what it feels like to be numb and be on autopilot. I know what it feels like to just like, you know, think that your fate has been sealed and you're never going to like break free from that. You're never going to get out of that. You're just being miserable and you try to find like a way to cope. I've been there, but like honestly, I'm so thankful for getting out of that. Having like the strength to break free and actually embrace who I am instead of just move on and like brush it off. Gotta man up. It's like, I'm so thankful that I didn't fall for that or that I got tired of it. And I thought that like, either I'm going to start transitioning and it's going to be good, or I'm going to just like call it quits, just going to give up, because like that is not a life. Being on autopilot, being numb, being surrounded by hatred, that is not a life. And I'm so thankful that I got myself out of there and I started speaking up and I started creating a community full of people who actually are joy to be around, who are actually supportive, who don't have like a mental breakdown just because you are playing a female character in a video game. I'm so glad to be free from that. And I wish more people would just like start waking up, because then we could like make progress as a society. Then we could like fix all the core issues that are responsible for your life to be miserable. But for that, we need to have free speech, free expression. And by free speech, I do not mean hate speech. I mean actually freedom of expression. You can be yourself as long as you don't harm other people. As long as you're not spreading lies about groups, inciting violence, you should be free to say whatever. But that is what they don't understand. For them, racism is when you say that like white supremacy is actually bad. Actually, white people are not superior to other cultures. Actually, white people are not the reason why everything in my life is awesome. I do not have to thank white people for all the good things they did. If I say these things, they are going to have a mental breakdown. They're going to call me anti-white. They're going to call me racist. And it's like, you're just delusional. I unironically believe that the cure to fascism is to touch grass, stay out of Twitter for a while, and talk to regular people. 100%. Especially for like incels. You know, all their male loneliness could be fixed if they stop consuming Andrew Tate and instead they literally just go outside and they're being normal people. Find like purpose beyond just like, I don't know, intercourse with a woman. Have like a hobby. You don't have to go into the gym and get ripped. Just do something that you enjoy doing. Connect with fellow humans. Learn to have like a different perspective of life and just like get out of there. Socialize. And I know it's difficult when you've been stuck in there for such a long time, but like you have to break free somehow. And I think doing like sports, like a group activity that isn't necessarily like separated in genders, that can be pretty beneficial. Going outside to the park, get a dog, walk a dog, go to the dog park. You're going to meet a lot of women who also have dogs. You can talk to them. You can interact with them. You can socialize with them. That's a good tip. You didn't need to subscribe to what is it? Alpha Male University for like 3,000 euros a month. Recently started doing a weekly bingo session in local queer club and it's been a blast. Go play D&D. Play D&D with people. If you want to like actually turn your life around, the first thing that you should do is just like close Twitter, uninstall Twitter for a bit, leave all the like incel discords that you have, go stop being on like 4chan or Reddit or whatnot, and just, I don't know, go outside, go to a park, walk around. Bonus points if you have a dog. You will meet a lot of women through that. Dogs are cute. It's a good conversation starter, but do not do it just to hook up. Just do it in order to like learn how to speak to people. I can promise you, you're going to be extremely awkward because you don't know how to like socialize. But if you just go in there in order to just like have some small talk or some like human interaction that is like not behind your screen, it's going to help you a lot. If I go here and I look at the comments, people are just like they're like so trapped. I wish there were more based VTubers like Kirsche, because she has a sense of humor and speaks her brains. What exactly is she guilty of? Just a white supremacists. It's so wild. But these people want to drag me back into it because they want to see me get owned again by the Kirsche fans, and then I'm going to like give up because I lost. What did you win? I'm so curious. Like, what did you win? If you look at the state of the world, what are you winning? Things getting more expensive, you earning less money, employment rates going up, judges are being arrested for no reason other than to just like replace everyone who is standing in Trump's way. The housing crisis getting worse, homeless crisis getting worse. I guess this one trans girl in Utah can't compete with her girlfriends in school. That's a huge win. That's a success story. But like, how did your life improve? Genuinely, how did your life improve after Trump? Gotta own the libs. Yeah, that is what I don't understand. What are you gaining from this weirdo gutting social security? I just don't get it.